I'm just really looking forward to like not doing any work.
So
worried about it.
Vexed at the very start.
But I've actually, you know, in the way that I don't know if you've noticed this, but in the way that I revamped the post movie podcast website, I just gotta like put a lot more box art things out there. So
box art.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Post Movie Podcast. I'm Steve Head.
I'm John Black.
And on this episode, we're going to talk about new Blu-ray and DVD releases. And like always, we have a few.
That's right. That's right.
On the table, in the apartment. Go ahead.
I want to start with this is one of the better. This is one of the biggest surprises I've seen on video for a long time. It's a movie called The Red Chapel by the Norwegian director Mads Brugger.
Never heard of him.
No, but all right. Here's the deal. He made a documentary in North Korea. And you know how hard it is to get permission to film in North Korea, right? And so we're talking about every day he had to turn his footage over to the government to be.
It's like having
edited.
One of these guys sit in the screening room with you.
Yeah, I mean they were never left alone. There was always a translator and a group of people to make sure they only saw the right things, did the right things, talked to the right people, whatever. So here's how he got away with what he got away with. He went there as part of a cultural exchange program with a two-man comedy act of Korean, Norwegian guys. And one of the guys is, and this is how he refers to himself, a spastic.
Huh.
He's mentally handicapped. And so he talks like this. And so he...
A spastic.
Right. That's the word.
Is that in there? Well, it's a word I recall using in grade school.
Right. And you're a spaz.
Sure.
So anyway, so the guy, the handicapped fellow, is talking like that in Norwegian, and so the Korean people can't translate what he's saying, and so he says the most outrageous shit about Korea, but they can't translate it, and they don't take it out of the footage because he's handicapped. And so it's got this wild edge to it like that. But also, there's some really poignant moments. Like this guy asked to see, he goes, I've met a lot of interesting people. I won't do the voice again. I've met so many interesting people in your country. Can I meet some people like me, meaning other handicapped people? Well, in North Korea, they
don't. Oh, I thought they didn't exist.
They don't. And for reasons like they're killed by the government. And so there are these breathtaking moments in the movie. Plus, the cultural exchange, the act they bring to Korea is fucking terrible. It's this horrible comedy act, and they know it's horrible. But they put it on, and so all the Korean people are like, yeah, that was good, but you know what would be better? You know what would make this better for the Korean people? If he didn't talk, pointing to the handicapped guy. So they make him blow a whistle instead of talk in the play they put on. And it'd be better if he didn't get out of the chair so no one knows he's handicapped.
This is disturbing. I'm hooked.
It's wildly funny, deeply disturbing, and yeah, it'll put the hook in you. So it's The Red Chapel by Mads Brugger. And
this is now out on DVD?
It's
or
out.
Coming out?
Kino Lorber just put it out.
Wow.
And I would definitely search it out. It's pretty wild.
Cool. I've got a couple announcements. New releases. Anchor Bay has The Howling, Reborn. Full Moon, New Blood, Reborn. Coming out, I think it's this week or next, but we'll be watching it this week. And Fox has released A Better Life from director Chris Weitz.
Good movie.
Weitz. He's the filmmaker behind About a Boy and originally the first American Pie flick. So... haven't seen them. Just want to let people know that they're out there. I'll be watching them this week.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Isn't it? It's really important news to know what movie I will be watching this week.
People want to know. I don't know who, but people do.
Also, I'm really excited actually to see. I haven't watched it yet. Harry Carey.
The guy from Chicago, the announcer from Chicago.
Well, I used to think that, being a Cub fan and digging Harry Carey. But Harry Carey, 1962 on Criterion Collection.
Cool.
I'll be watching that this week. Very much looking forward to it. And, John, I know this is one that's going to make you jump up and down with joy.
Torture.
Terry.
Didn't that come out this week?
Yeah, it did.
You already saw it, right?
Yeah. We saw it at the Independent Fest.
Let's kick that puppy.
And,
no, we don't have
Azelle
to.
Jacobs came into town.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so glad I didn't do that.
An amusing in-the-zone performance by John C. Reilly, but I can't, like, highly recommend it. I think it's just too dreary, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's depressing in its film festival kind of way.
Yeah, and it's a cell phone movie.
Oh, yeah, there is that.
Yeah.
It was nice seeing Creed Bratton there on the big screen.
Who?
He's Creed from The Office. Plays Terry's dad, the fat kid with trouble at school that's seeking help from the counselor, John C. Reilly.
Looks like whatever. Yeah,
It
was.
I think we saw this movie in a short spate of films that dealt with over-medicated people.
You did. I skipped
Because
this
didn't
one.
you see the Joseph Gordon-Levitt flick, Hesher?
Yeah.
With God, what's his name? Dwight from The Office, playing the over-medicated.
Rainn Wilson.
Yeah, playing
And,
the
Natalie
over-medicated
Portman.
dad, and these were basically two movies with characters that sat in very dilapidated living rooms, just ingesting antidepressants.
Who took the antidepressants in this one?
I think it was Creed Bratton, and to some extent, Sarah,
he had
didn't he?
Alzheimer's, didn't he? Didn't the dad have
It's a heavily
Alzheimer's?
medicated movie, John.
Okay.
Let's just leave it at that.
I wish I had
I'm
been
not going to
heavily
defend you
medicated
with all
when I saw it.
who's taking what drug.
Yeah. Those days are long over.
Okay, all right. This will cheer you up. We got a couple from DreamWorks that we watched this week, and you're already laughing. Shared Shrekless and Monsters and Aliens, Mutant Monsters from Outer Space.
Mutant Pumpkins.
Mutant Pumpkins. Oh, they're right. Mutant Pumpkins from Outer Space.
Yeah.
You know, the point I want to make about these two discs. I think they just came out on DVD.
Yeah.
Or they're just on DVD. They're not on Blu-ray, but they came out like a week or two ago. Some people might think that they're like the Disney version of
The direct
like a direct-to-video one-off, like sequel to The Lion King or something like that feature different voices. These movies they're 24 minutes apiece, but they're in no way on the discs. Nowhere on either of these discs does it say that this actually features the real voice cast, except in the case of Eddie Murphy not voicing the donkey. It's the actual voice cast.
Yep. Same
from
for Monsters
and the
versus
same for
Aliens.
Monsters vs.
Yeah.
Aliens. Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz, Antonio Banderas,
Reese Witherspoon,
and all the
Seth
cast
Rogen,
from all the
guy
cast from
House.
And the Scared Shrekless is actually kind of a kick because it pays homage to The Exorcist.
The Shrek.
The Shreksorcist.
Yeah, that.
And
Be a long show. Shrek Sauce.
what are the other two that it does? The
Bates
Boots
Motel,
Motel. And
and,
what was the first one? I forget.
Gingy something. It's
Oh, right,
Ginger
the bride of Gingy.
Yeah.
The bride is voiced by what's her name? You're not helping me.
No, I'm amazed by the cacophony of percussion
Um,
instruments there.
You know, she did the voice of the rhino in Toy Story 3.
I refuse to help you.
Fucking hell, man! We don't have any goddamn notes here.
Oh, this will be edited.
Now I gotta no. I'm gonna think of her name.
Okay. Let's think of something else.
She was the obsessive fan in Flight of the Conchords. People email me, tell me who this fucking person is.
I can picture her.
Yeah, I can see her. She's on Bob's Burgers. She plays the daughter, and this is what happens when you're doing a show
Live from the apartment.
Yeah, without any notes, without.
anyway, let's distract you.
It'll come to me at some
The
point.
thing is, with those, along with not having the regular voices and all those Disney direct-to-home video things, they were always crap. The animation always took a step back.
I think it is in the notes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it is in the notes.
I've been
No,
sitting
I'm
on
looking.
the notes while he's been
I'm looking.
percussive.
Because go ahead.
But
Sorry.
the thing is, the animation is usually substandard in those other directed videos.
Mm.
These films look good. They look as good as the theatrical releases of both movies. The effects are good. It's well animated. They really make an effort to do something special on these 2 half-hour Halloween specials that are probably going to be on TV.
Right.
You know, but
I think they're edited. They're edited 24 minutes, so they will be on TV.
But I
at
also
some
think
point.
that they're the kind of things. It's kind of like owning a copy of "It's a Great Pumpkin," Charlie Brown. You want to have it on hand, so when it's Halloween, you say, "Oh, you know what makes me feel like it's put me in the Halloween spirit." Watching these movies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
the kids will dig it.
original
Plus, on Scared Shrekless, you get a Shrek'd out parody of Michael Jackson's Thriller,
which is pretty funny.
with a parody of Vincent Price's voice by
oh, here we go again.
what Antonio Banderas, I think, is Puss in Boots.
Right. Okay.
I gotta remember this woman's name.
Anyway,
You know what? In my moments where I'm not talking into a mic, where I'm just, all the information comes to me.
that's sad, really.
You know, I mean, I almost want to. And I'm stuck because we have to roll. There's no way I can stop.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if I have to stop now, it's an edit, and it's like,
Well, let's move on then.
what's her name?
Anyway,
about that?
speaking of voices.
Go ahead. I'll think of it
All right.
when when I least suspect it.
Warner Brothers DC just put out Batman Year One, which
Kristen Shaw. Thank you.
no problem.
Continue.
All right, but it's pretty much a retelling of when Batman and Commissioner Gordon first worked together to fight crime in Gotham. But it's a different twist on the whole origin story we know from the movies and the TV show. It's really well done, a lot of fun. But the thing that makes it work, or the bonus you get on this, is there's how they always put like here's Batman and we're going to show you another cartoon.
Right.
This one has a Catwoman episode, a standalone Catwoman, and Elijah Dushku does the voice, and it's so hot.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty it's got to be PG-13 because
Does she regularly do the Catwoman voice?
No, I guess she's new. This is the new. She's in the original Year One, and she's also got this spin-off. I don't know if she's going to do more of them or not. But she's the perfect voice for this buxom, shapely, animated Catwoman. So
I saw her walk into my local coffee shop one time.
This isn't another Fox story,
Right
is it?
over here in Washington Square.
Yeah.
At Cafe Feeks.
What'd you do?
My jaw hit the floor. She was leaving. I was actually going into the coffee shop, and she was leaving.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, ho.
Yeah.
And of course I had to text about it.
Of course, she didn't react to that.
Right. I
She
kind of
just
was like,
ignored that.
what?
Big vowel movement right in
the
front of her.
double take. It's so.
But she's quite attractive in person, isn't she?
Oh, she's drop
She's
dead.
darling. She's
Yes.
darling. But it's funny because you don't see her in this movie, but you could just listen to the voice and have the same reaction.
She has a very sexy voice.
Yeah, she does.
No doubt.
So
No
yeah,
doubt.
I would recommend that, especially for young boys.
John, this week
Yes.
watched Monte Carlo.
Uh-huh.
Actually,
Did you have a
did kind of like it.
Do you have a
And it's
Jamie
not
party?
my kind of film.
No.
It's definitely not my kind of film. But I put it in the player, excuse me, and Sarah and I watched it, and I guess the word would be begrudgingly charmed.
Yep.
I guess
it's
the
fluffy
words
fun.
would be.
It's not. Selena Gomez is fine. I like the two girls who were her friends.
Yeah, she's
better.
a talent, I guess.
She's okay. She's got to do something besides this Disney. I think it's a good transition movie for her career to get away from the Wizards of Waverly Place and the other Disney
Yeah, I've never seen
TV
it.
crap she's been doing, and now this is kind of a more her age role. So
Yeah.
it was fun.
It's like a Prince and the Pauper kind of thing,
yeah,
except she's taken the place of a
her
well-to-do
identical
heir.
twin
Yeah.
heir. Yeah,
So identical that you just cannot
except
tell.
one's a nice girl and one's a real
You had to,
bitch.
yeah. You had to figure that at some point, obviously all of it's going to come crashing down. But the one woman who
Spoiler
figures
alert.
out that she's not who she's supposed to be, just attributed to the fact that the real girl is such a bitch
Yeah.
that she'd actually employ someone to do it. So what Selena Gomez and her sisters are doing in this movie is highly, highly illegal. Wouldn't you think? I mean, like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
They
they
impersonate
could really
royalty,
get.
take over a hotel suite, charge up a bunch of stuff on her room bill, and but it's all in good fun, good
Fantasy.
girl fun.
Yeah.
They find out, she can't play polo. Like that's something 99% of the women can't do, play polo. So it was fun. It's
Yeah.
kind of like kind of
Yeah.
embarrassing. I wouldn't admit to people you own that
You
unless it's you hang
Yeah.
around a schoolyard.
produced
someplace.
by Nicole Kidman. I had thought that she was going to appear in the movie. I
Yeah,
think I
thank God.
maybe misread the cast list, or
I think she
didn't
played
read it
one of the
closely
horses
enough.
at the polo field, but that could just be me.
I was on Blu-ray October 18th, and
And
Yeah,
then
the kids will dig it.
original- You want another one for the kids to dig?
The kids will dig it.
Here's another one for the kids to dig: Adventures in Pornoland. No, this is not my autobiography. This is a story about a Canadian filmmaker. It's like a fake documentary. He's a successful Canadian filmmaker who wants to make the leap to the big time by going to Hollywood. And, of course, he can't get meetings. He can't get jobs. And he ends up meeting an old film school chum who makes porno. So this guy says, oh, well, I'm not working. Maybe I'll just, hold the boom. And he gets seduced by the world of pornography, makes his own. His whole idea is that he wants to make a porno that really shows people's feelings. They're not just having sex, they're making love. And he doesn't have the talent to do it. No one wants to see that in porno. And he keeps running into walls. It has a horrendous twist in the third act, which is so unbelievably stupid, it almost ruins the film. But it does have Ron Jeremy, who talks to the guy about porn while he's having sex with a porn star.
So there's no porn in the movie.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Yeah?
Not graphic. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, Ron Jeremy is having sex with a girl and talking to the guy about what people want to see in their porno movies. It's kind of funny. Pretty good performances. It's just the twist in the third act just killed it for me.
Really?
Yeah. Should I reveal it?
No.
Okay.
No. Who puts that out?
Huh?
The company?
Virgil
I'm just curious. Who's distributing?
Walking Shadows and Virgil Films and Entertainment proudly present Adventures in Pornoland, a naked look at the porn culture. Yeah. So, it has Ron Jeremy and Kimberly Kane named a top 12 female porn star by the popular men's magazine Maxim. So, yeah, kids, go and buy this.
I've got one for you. Phase 7.
Yeah.
I want to emphasize the ones that I'm talking about, the movies that I'm talking about, I digged. Right. I mean, I kind of, already decided I wanted to talk about it because I liked it. And Phase 7, I liked. Mm-hmm. It's... basically, it's in a way. I can't say it's hugely original because you've seen Wreck, you've seen Quarantine. No. Both of those movies, as does this. So I should just say, Phase 7 takes place in an apartment building in Argentina, and the world around them is totally succumbing to a disease. And as things get worse around the world, the warning level keeps going up until it gets to Phase 7. So in this apartment building, the people that have been quarantined to it all of a sudden start living out these minuscule dramas that are going on between, the different apartments. Right. And the movie's done with not as much humor as like Shaun of the Dead, but the people, the guy and the girl, the young couple, are, well informed about what's going on. But they're dealing with it with such a I don't really care attitude that it just kind of, the way that they just are just, have no real concern for what's happening outside until it's really knocking on their door. Right. Until the shit really starts happening in the apartment. Until I suppose, I got to thinking that maybe they'll just figure that at some point it's going to end. But they get to the point where they're counting bowls of cereal, where they're counting all of their, things as to how much they've got left. And, so the few members of the apartment band together, and they seem to think they think that the guy who lives on the first floor apartment has been infected, and because he hasn't been communicating, and so they decide to go into his apartment to take care of it before things get worse. Well, this guy starts taking care of them. So basically, on top of the disease thing that's going around, you've got a guy just like a guy with a hunting rifle, basically attempting to snuff out other people in the apartment. It's got its drama.
Is it? Do the infected people, are they like zombies?
I won't say.
Okay. I was only using it as a segue to Devil's Playground.
Yeah.
Which is a new zombie film, and
oh yeah, you were telling me about this one.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of zombie films, but I always look for something different. It's like when you saw 28 Days Later, and the zombies were really fast. You're like, wow, they're not all stumbling idiots like in the
right.
The
okay,
movies.
Here we go.
This takes place in London, and there's an evil chemical company comes up with a new energy drink They tested on 30,000 people.
It's like you have your different speeds, your zombies at different speeds.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, if you can just jack that up a bit.
Exactly. Well, they test this new energy drink on 30,000 people. 29,999 become zombies. And because it's an energy drink, they are really
29,000 people become
really fast, really strong,
parkour
really
experts.
athletic parkour experts. Right. These zombies don't, if they can flip and jump over a car, there's no reason to run around it. They do these incredible moves, especially because they're the Walking Dead.
Just like them flying through the,
Yeah, it's like watching District 9, but with zombies. I mean, it's not to that level of intensity because these people really are great parkour artists. But the rest of the movie's good. It's got some blood and guts. It's got some good characters. The acting's okay.
It turned you into a zombie, but it increased one's physical intelligence. All of a sudden, they just became like...
Yeah, you're a fat slob, but then you get infected, and suddenly you're leaping cars, And the thing is, it's not played as a joke. It's just part of the story. It's never really. No one ever says, "Wow, those zombies are fucking fast."
I'm led to wonder if anybody making this knew that it was going to be a joke.
Who knew? But the thing is, because they don't play it as a joke, I was laughing my ass off. I had a blast. So I highly recommend it.
Here's one that you did not highly recommend, but I did. I digged it. I don't know if we really ever fully reviewed The Tree of Life, the Terrence Malick film.
I think it would take hours.
But it's just come out on Blu-ray, and this non-narrative film, taking it for what it's worth in terms of its quality, it's really an amazing thing to see. You're looking at me like, Steve, what the fuck, John? This is a beautiful movie.
No. It's got dinosaurs.
It's got dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say that.
Well,
I knew you were going to say that. But
liked.
this is about the creation of of the world, of one's life. It's supposed to be contemplative. It's supposed to say to, people that are used to like having a structured narrative, this is intentionally not that way. So
Fine.
you can automatically hate it.
No.
But I'm telling you, it's a beautiful film.
It's got some beautiful
How long
images.
can you sit there and watch this beautiful stuff before you get tired? Do you just get tired of it?
Oh, yeah.
Is that
real quick?
Okay.
And the thing is, it is beautiful. I mean, especially when we saw it in the theater, although there were some problems with the screening.
Mm-hmm.
There's some beautiful imagery on there, but it's not tying together to me in any meaningful way, narrative or not. And the way it jumps back between pictures of the world or pictures under a microscope and then this story about Brad Pitt's family, which I liked. I liked Pitt. I liked Jessica Chastain. I thought Pitt gave a good performance.
Maybe meditative qualities in storytelling don't work well.
More dinosaurs would have made it better.
Or who's to say that they shouldn't work? I mean, it's sort of a statement by the fact that he made the film, and you can't do it this way. And I think because this is a Terrence Malick film, there are directors that would not be allowed to make a film like this, at least not with the money that he was able to put into it. So it's an achievement in a sense.
And I think it's the same way that because it's a Terrence Malick film, there are audiences that just shouldn't do it.
Well, also, locally, people will have their chance here in Boston to see it on the big screen. It's playing over at the Brattle on the 19th.
Oh,
so
really?
There's a chance to check it
think
out.
I
I know
could
you
just-
think you're
I'm
going to be there?
going. Did you
Right in
see
front of the line?
dinosaurs? Did they have the dinosaurs even on the cover?
Looking at it? I don't know. I liked the space sequences, the novas and the suns and all that stuff. Went all in together. But dinosaurs,
Penn
CGI dinosaurs.
Was in it.
Thanks, John.
They were not CGI dinosaurs. Yeah, they were. Well, it's at the top of everyone's to-see list, according to Kevin Turan.
Creation, man. Creation.
Evokes the wonderment of life's experience. Please, who writes this stuff? Roger Ebert.
John, let's get to something else more exciting.
Okay.
I'll probably talk about this again because I'm still kind of reeling from it in my part of my being that is a huge Star Wars fan and in the sense that it's hugely affected my life. And there are reasons in this movie called The People versus George Lucas why we should really genuinely be pissed at George Lucas. Now, I love him. I love him. I love what he's done. And this is, of course, repeated many times in the film by other people. But from an artist's point of view, what he's done with Star Wars by going back and basically changing things, but by having done what he's done, and most, in particular, what he's done to Han Solo by changing the fact that he did not fire first, by softening that for kids or something like that. I don't know. It's just completely stupid. By kind of destroying the character, a real essential element of the character. We should actually be really pissed. Also, another point. I'm getting all like welled up. I don't even know upon which subject to begin first. But the most important one is the fact that the film Star Wars, as it exists right now, in its Star Wars quote special edition form, is not the film that won the Oscar for best editing. It's not the film that was admitted into the Library of Congress as
best movie ever.
Yeah, it's not one of the films that is being supposedly to be preserved or by the Library of Congress. That's not the film that the movie that affected this world. This whole fucking universe.
All right. Reel it in, Steve. I let you go
the
for a while.
Movie
there,
the movie that created the cultural sensation that is Star Wars or was Star Wars. Is the film as it was prior to 1995, prior to when they began work on the special edition, prior than when reportedly they began changing the actual negative to the film. If you want to see the real film, you have to go back and either get the Laserdisc as it was released in the early 90s or dig up your video cassette pre-1995.
Wouldn't a time machine be easier?
That movie doesn't fucking exist in any other format. And it's kind of a travesty. It's like with an artist has to just know when to walk away sometimes. And Lucas didn't do that. Mm-hmm. Of course, you go back to it was kind of neat that he did all this other stuff. But the part that really irks me is that they're not recognizing the film that actually
started
the actual fucking film.
Right.
Has been messed with. As if he wants us to forget about that movie, as if he wants us to forget about the original version of Empire or Jedi, as if those are to be forgotten about. He can't do that because we, as a culture, we already own these movies the way we first experienced them. And this movie actually, makes some really good points about that. And we have to say our buddy Dan Kimmel is also in the film.
He plays the part of George Lucas, right?
Yeah.
No, it's a documentary. Dan's just
I just had to get that off my chest. I didn't do it very well.
I
got a little verklempt.
Your chest is clean. It looks good.
And then if you go back and watch it, like I pulled out my VCR, I pulled out my tapes here, watched the original film, just as effective. I mean, it's awesome to see the original 20th Century Fox logos. It's awesome to see fucking Han shoot first. Yeah, you see some matte lines around some of the spaceships, but so fucking what? We love it for its faults. This is the film that I fell in love with. It's not what you get. With the special editions, they're neat and everything, but it's a synthetic environment. The thing with Han stepping on Jabba's tail, it's clunky. It doesn't work. They try to fix it up. They still try to fix it. It's just fucking leave it alone. Give fans the original film. You can get all kinds of versions of this very same argument in The People versus George Lucas.
Wow.
Which will be out in DVD in a couple of weeks anyway.
The preceding rant was presented by Steve.
It got to the point where like I was so fucking pissed, and I should tell listeners I'm apart from just being a huge Star Wars fan,
Wait, what?
I co-edited the Force.net for a couple of years, from 97 to 2000. It's like being on the forefront of what's going on with Star Wars news and Star Wars fandom. And anyway, it's infuriating, from an artist's point of view. Just to say that original thing that we were given, we can't have anymore because it's not the way that George wanted it. This special edition crap is not the same thing that the Library of Congress honored. It's not the same film. These are not the same movies. And in fact, it just got more insulting with the prequels. If only we could just turn the clock back to pre-1997.
I think
We were
did.
so hyped. I was so looking forward to those films, But and they were telling us about all the new things that there would be, but they didn't tell us that they were going to actually change an essential element to one of the characters. Fuck that.
And on that
Done.
note, I don't want to. I don't think we should talk about anything else after that.
Well, I do have to mention another major film that's coming out this
Go
week.
ahead, but it's not.
Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. I have to say, okay, disc 3 of this set.
Jesus.
I love the special features, man.
I
I
guess.
love it. I love the
Yeah.
behind-the-scenes stuff at Pinewood. I love the special feature where they show you how they made Blackbeard's ship.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very cool featurette on the mermaids and the filming of that scene, which is actually the best scene in the movie. The movie just throws so much stuff. It kind of caves in on itself. It becomes absurd, absolutely absurd at points. But I'm always entranced by the process of the making of the film, and they kind of deliver that in the special edition. I mean, in the disc number 3, which is the Blu-ray extra feature stuff,
Right.
where they follow the film from London to Hawaii, and then where they filmed the mermaid scene in this cove that was actually right near a highway. And it's just interesting how they digitally remove all that stuff. I just from a filmmaking standpoint, Disney and Bruckheimer Films really put out a lot of good stuff on the disc. Movie, it's basically a money grab, but in terms from like this is
Package.
high technology filmmaking, it's pretty cool.
How was the
disc 3.
Lego animated short?
I watched. I
Bricktails?
couldn't deal with that. It's too
Is
frantic
there
for me.
more Keith Richards in the extras?
No,
Yeah.
not that I watched all of the extras. I don't recall a Keith Richards piece, but I think they filmed that separately from the film.
Yeah.
That was like this intimate thing that they did apart from the other elements of the production.
A
So
Rob Marshall movie.
yeah, I don't know if he was like the best choice to make this movie, but
We'll wait for
it's
Pirates
just
5.
all about Johnny Depp.
Yeah. We just got the invite for Rum Diaries, which I'm looking forward to a lot. So
Me too. That's going to be. I mean, that's real small scale stuff compared to.
yeah, but he owes us for the tourist. He does.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
That was.
Wait. All right, everyone, watch this. Star Wars. He's off again.
Fucking bullshit.
All
Just
right.
give me an original fucking movie. We're done.
Yes.
So hey, if you have anything to say about any of the movies that we've talked about, we'd like to hear from you. Send us an email at contact@post-movie.net. All of our episodes can be listened to online at post-movie.net, and we're also on Facebook. And if you can leave us a review on iTunes, that would be fantastic. I got to check that. I got to check and see if we've.
When you check, could you see if there's any money in our donation box?
Yeah, I got to check that too. But
I'm sure there is.
the iTunes thing is actually that's
Don't say it's
helpful
more. Yeah.
and
so is money.
encouraging when it's good.
So is money. If people paid me,
That's
I'd do
true.
much better shows.
That's true. Until next week, I'm Steve Head.
I'm John Black.
So long, everybody.